Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Simonsen. I'm the CEO of IRRC in Copenhagen. I'm here to give you a little presentation about the planning, construction, and performance of the waste-to-energy plant in Copenhagen. IRRC in Denmark is not only a waste-to-energy facility. We have a wide range of other activities as well, ranging from landfill to sorting plant. We actually also collect the household and recyclable waste in all our 5 municipalities that are the owners of IRRC. Just to say a little bit about why we built the new IRRC in this location where we are now. What you see before you here is a view from 1976 from a central part in Amager, which is a part of Copenhagen. The plant in the background is actually partly the old Amager Forbrænding, the old waste incineration plant in Copenhagen. When we had to take down the old plant and build a new plant, it was decided that we wanted to build it at the same location. It is because this location is very perfect for making energy. It is on the highway, on the district heating highway, and on the energy highway to Copenhagen. But as you can see from this picture, the old IRRC was situated in the very outskirts of the city. Right now, what you see here in your picture is actually the start of building IRRC, and here you have the whole energy peninsula, which we call it, and that is the motorway. From the old picture, you can see actually that we were on the outskirts, but right down here is actually residential areas. And this is actually also the main explanation of why IRRC looks like it does today. Because we had the idea that, or the clarity that the city is moving closer and closer to the waste-to-energy facility. And in the next 30 years, we'll be even closer. This is how Copenhagen is probably going to be in the future in 30 years from now. IRRC is actually out here where you see it. And this is artificial island, which they are building in the future. That is to say that IRRC will be in the next many years, the residential areas will keep on moving closer, and we will be more and more in the very heart of the city. If we were to build IRRC outside, on the outskirts of the city, we would have to endure very large costs to connect to the district heating network. And therefore, it was decided to build it where it was, on the highway to the district heating system. But at the same time, having this idea that the residential areas come closer, we also looked into how can we then have the license to operate? How can we not end up in a situation where it will be not in my backyard? This is actually the future planning metro lines in Copenhagen. This is the artificial island, and IRRC is out here. That is to say that we'll be on the main metro line as well. So we will be an integrated part of Copenhagen city. That is also why that when we tendered out the architectural competition for IRRC, we wanted to have a bid on how we could integrate the waste-to-energy facility in the city. We wanted to open up ourselves and invite the city to the plant instead of, making a big fence with barbed wire and keeping the residents out. These are actually the 6 bids that came in, and it was the Bjarke group who won the tender, and the rest is more or less history. It is absolutely ridiculous idea to build a ski slope on a power plant, build a ski slope on a heater, on a furnace, but it is still at the same time an absolutely brilliant idea. It has definitely not been easy, but it has been worth the while. I think it is safe to say that making recreational facilities to our waste to energy plant has created a very great platform for acceptance of the plant in the city. This is Bjarke Engels, the famous architect, when we opened the plant, and he has actually been a very, very good advocate for the plant, and to envisage and have the fantastic idea to include it in the local community. It has been widely accepted. We have had a lot of focus from high levels. The Danish former Prime Minister, this gentleman you may know, the UN climate delegate, Mr. Bloomberg, visited the plant. We have also had high-level visits from royalty, the Danish Crown Prince and the Crown Princess of Sweden. And in that way, I think, you know, when you have famous people like this wanting to see the plant, it is a sign that you have done something right, and that you are being accepted into the community. We have also had the fortune of having Greta Thunberg visiting us, and I think it is because we are trying to position ourselves as waste to energy plant, actually working for sustainability and for better climate and better environment. So our focus is not just to burn waste. We want to recycle as much as possible and only burn the residual part of waste. So these are the international delegations that visited us before COVID-19 closed our visiting facilities in the spring. We've had a lot of international attention indeed. It is all about sustainability, and this is the storyline that we want to pursue. We are here to service the city of Copenhagen. We should never forget that this is our main focus, to supply the city of Copenhagen and our 4 other municipalities with sound solutions regarding waste management. A lot of it will go for reuse and recycling, but waste to energy is most definitely a very, very important part to have in our waste management arsenal, so to speak. We are looking out the window from my office. We are 2 kilometers from the Queen's residence in Copenhagen. And what you can see here in the foreground is actually also the closest residential area. That is to say that when we operate the plant, we must have a very high focus on that we are meeting our environmental permits, that we're not smelly and dusty and noisy, and we're doing all we can. Actually, we have succeeded quite well. We've had very, very few complaints, and we have a very good relationship with our closest neighbors. The ski slope at IRRC is actually placed in a total outside foundation, because the Danish legislation, and I think it is like this in most of the world, of course, we cannot use the heat consumer or the waste producers' money to have recreational activities. So we have put this in a private foundation, and they have done their fundraising to finance the recreational activities. And I think it has been and has proven to be a very good idea to have a private operator on the roof. It is not easy. You need good contracts and so on, but it has been a great advantage for us as a public municipal-owned public entity to have this cooperation. This was in the Danish newspaper. We have not used a single cent for this, sponsored by Audi, because they have interest in the recreational facilities. This is actually the town hall square, the building next to the town hall square. As a public company, we would never ever be able to advertise in this manner. But of course, private money are welcome to do whatever they like. We've had a lot of focus from the sporting community, the running community, and now the climbing community is starting to come up, and of course also the skiing community. At our very top, we have or the private operator has a small champagne bar. And I'm just putting to you, as a public companies, will you ever be able to have a champagne bar on top? We would definitely not in Denmark. If this was a public operation to run the recreational facilities, we would have all the tabloid papers come and running and say, "Are you really able to fund this?" And of course, we're not. This is not our money. This is the private funds' money and the operators' money to make a business out of the recreational facilities. So a little bit about our waste management plant. How does it actually operate, and what kind of values do we actually get from running the plant? I think it is safe to say that we have one of the very best environmental performances in the world. We also have a very, very high energy efficiency. And by far, I think it's safe to say that we are the safest plant in the world. And of course, we are the safest plant because we have skiing guests on the roof. And therefore, it is not an option to lift the roof if the worst things should happen and you have a problem in the boiler room. We have started operations in 2017, and it has not been easy to start up the operations. But last year, we received 477,000 tons of waste. We had a little bit in the bunker, so we treated 83,000 tons, and that actually supplies the heat use or the heat need for 77,000 households, and the electricity need for 38,000 households. So it is quite a bit, and it is also a key to the success that we have a very, very integrated, we're very well integrated in the district heating network in the greater Copenhagen area. I think we are lucky in the way that we have probably the widest district heating network in the world, extending all the way from the municipality of Copenhagen all the way to Roskilde, more than 40 kilometers. And there's a great need of district heating in Denmark. So all that we actually produce, we can put into district heating network, and therefore we are also able to make a more sound business case. We have two lines operating at 35 tons each, so 70 tons an hour, a max capacity of 560,000 tons on a yearly basis. This has not been cheap. It is about 4 billion Danish kroner, and it is definitely a lot of money. And we can only do that because we have a long-term financing plan that will keep us in business for the next 30 years, hopefully. We have a lot of cleaning technologies, as probably all of you, I'm sure that all of you running waste to energy facilities are familiar with this. It is more than maybe 2 soccer fields of cleaning equipment. The main part of the plant is catalytic converters, dust filters, electrofilters, scrubbers, and so on. And they are working quite well. Here you have a table saying, what are the EU directive emission limit values, and what values do we actually have in our environmental approval. And the new BREF values are here. And what you can actually see in this red square is our values that we actually deliver, measured values from our production. And as you can see, they are far, far below the emission limit values in the EU directive. If you put it on an index scale, so to say, then up here you have the EU emission limit values, and you have the values in our environmental performance. And down here, you actually have the values that we present and produce, and that we deliver. That is to say that the plant is running very well, and of course, that also gives the basis of why we are being accepted in the community as a sound way of treating waste. We also have emissions to water. We are actually discharging water directly into to the sea. These are the emission limit values you have up here, and you have the values in the environmental performance, and you have the drinking water limit values. That is to say that our permit and what we actually emit is at many different parameters below the drinking water limit values, and that is quite something. If you look to the NOx, we have a catalytic converter, and we are delivering extremely low NOx values. If you compare it, the amount of NOx that we emit to the air on a yearly basis is the same as 2 cruise ships turning around in Copenhagen harbor. That is to say, maybe cruise ships, they emit a lot of NOx. That's not so good. And on the other hand, we emit very, very little. In Denmark, we have a goal to be climate neutral. This is our Prime Minister presenting the goal when she took office not so long time ago, presenting that we would reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 70% in 2030. And the municipality of Copenhagen, which is our biggest owner, is also very ambitious regarding the climate goals. They actually have goals to make Copenhagen the first climate neutral city in the world by 2025. And of course, they are also looking to IRRC to see how can we help them. And therefore, we are at the moment working with a carbon capture project. This will also, I think, on the long run, increase our standing with the local community, saying that we can burn the residual part of waste that cannot be recycled in a very environmental friendly way. Right now, we are trying. We have funding to make a pilot project, and we are hoping and looking to making a full-scale project in the years to come. Of course, if we take out the fossil element of what we are burning, about 160,000 tons a year, we will be climate neutral. But it looks, at least in the reports, that we were able to take out far more than that, maybe 90% of our total emission, and then we will be a net contributor to a better climate in Copenhagen. Of course, the Copenhagen city, our biggest owner, is very interested in this, and we are very committed to try to see if we can make this work. Of course, it needs to be cheap, and we need to do the very best that we can. To run up and to sum up my presentation, this was actually presented as being the vision of how IRRC could look like when we had the architectural competition and before we started building. A very romantic view of how everything looks, but this is actually a reality. This is what it looks like now, not very far from the vision. The only thing you can see is that the residential area is closer than we even envisaged when we bid out the tender for the competition. I thank you, and I hope to see you and welcome you at IRRC at some time. And I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you in this manner. Thank you very much, and hopefully a very good conference to all of you. Thank you.